Hello, Group 2. My name is Ben. I made this UDL lesson plan makeover for a poetry explication tool that I think is sort of geared towards high schoolers. So this is the tool as it is, and there's some things I really like about it. It's a visual representation, um, got good colors, and kind of goes in a circle, and it breaks the job down into small pieces, which I like. However, there are some things that I don't really like about it, and that's what I sought to change with my UDL makeover. Some things I want to consider when I make over this tool is that I think it could be used for other grade levels. I think it's very much aimed at high school. When I say bias is knowledge over curiosity, I mean it sort of is saying, what is it implies that you know what a universal theme is, or that you even know what a figure of speech is, or what different kinds of rhyming are. So I think having it be more about learning what these things are might also be helpful in lower anxiety about, oh, I don't know what these things are. I find this cycle to be kind of confusing. I love this to have a beginning and an end. That's just me. Um, and yeah, it very much thinks that it's going to be using writing as the way of representing knowledge, which I'm kind of trying to move away with this UD. So the short description of this modification is that I'd like to use essentially building story into putting yourself in a place to encounter poetry. So maybe it's in a field, maybe it's in a forest, but the act of going through the steps of explicating the poem is the journey on getting closer to the poet. You are first identifying, is this a poem? You're listening for the speaker. You're wondering, what is this poem about? How does it make me feel? What I'm going to tell my friends about this poem when I tell them about this encounter that I had. I like this idea because stories can be told many different ways. They could be told verbally or pictographically or with objects. They could be done verbally or written, which I think is a strength of this sort of idea. Via the UDL stage of engagement, I'd like to see that this activity is focusing on choice of poem. The poem is being a part of a self-reflective process, that choice, and that I think that this will start the student off with relative confidence. This is the kind of poem I want to read. Also, giving the opportunity to tackle this activity in groups or to do this on your own, and doing that sort of self-reflection, self-advocacy. Also, I think really useful. And then also making sure that this is broken down into manageable steps, 4 to 5 parts with a simple checklist in the shape of a poem with sort of imagery to help follow along through the stages of explication. I don't want to go into too much detail about the UDL elements, but you can pause and read more on my screen here. One thing I really like about this assignment is that I think it's asking the students to sort of build the method through which they're going to collect the information. So this journey also serves for creating the checkpoints that they will have to get to in order to fulfill, who is the speaker? How are they speaking? How does it make me feel? And that sort of experience of creating the journey can be done on paper. It could be done in your mind. It could be done verbally. It could be done on the desk. Hopefully this assignment is happening days after you've been introducing poetry and the concepts of poetry, and uh, so that people have known in advance this is what they're going to be doing, and they can address some of their anxieties about not knowing some of these things. And hopefully this serves as an opportunity to observe some of the patterns in poetry, what makes a poem, what is maybe makes something not a poem. So by engaging with the material, they can see those patterns. So when I'm thinking about what is a deliverable with this assignment, it's kind of any way of demonstrating knowledge. It's this assignment's about sharing. It's about centering storytelling and centering the idea of how am I going to convey my feelings about the poem, these things that I learned, what did I see, how do I talk about it? That's the real purpose of the assignment. And remember, this is for younger kids to get into poetry. So just to start to build a relationship with it. I also think that an important part of this is actually going to be the experience of talking about what things intimidate. So that's a part of also the action of expressing knowledge, is the action of expressing um, hesitance or curiosity or mystery. And here you can see my new god awful conception of how it is that you could complete this assignment. I've got the place where the poem is taking place. I've got the poem. I've got an idea of who's speaking. What are they saying? How are they saying it? How does it make me feel? And what am I going to tell people about it? And I built this place to put the information first, and then I put the information into that space. So hopefully you'd know a little bit more about the poem Cut by Sylvia Plath, which I recommend. And through the lens of the three block model of UDL, something I thought I would have talked more about, but hadn't really addressed yet, is just this assignment's capacity for group work, breaking it up into shareable chunks, and also offering kids the opportunity to be working independently or be a vanguard. If they want to be, they should be prepared to do some research. And that might be a good reason to be a part of a team. But if not, it all ends with co teaching, it all ends with demonstrating knowledge to the group. Thanks for following along, group two. I hope that made sense. And yeah, thanks for any feedback you've got for me. I've left a few more sort of discussion points in the post here, and I look forward to, I guess, working more and discussing more with you in the future.